My husband, 54M, and I, 54F, have 2 sons, Leighton, 13M, and Weston, 11M. My father, 92M, has been living with us for the past year as his dementia has been getting worse. Over the past 3 months, my father has been increasingly referring to Leighton as Russell. Russell was my father's brother. I never met Russell, as he and a friend, James, along with James's parents, died in a car crash in 1956 when Russell and James were 15. My great-grandparents were wealthy enough to have color photos of the family back then. I've seen photos of Russell, and I will say Leighton looks like heck would be his great-uncle's twin. My kids have been asking who Russell is, and I've just told them he was my uncle who died young. When they ask for more details, I just tell them I don't know much about him and that my father/their grandpa was not in a state to talk about him. My father never hate about Russell to the grandkids, and when I was a kid, rarely brought him up. About 8 years ago, my father and I were in the bedroom and were talking about gay marriage due to news around it. That's when he told me he had a secret he wanted to tell me. He told me that when Russell and James were 13, his family had caught the boys acting romantically. After that, Russell was scolded by the family for his homosexuality. He told me the only reason they let the boys remain friends is they didn't want this information to be public. He told me Russell was always effeminate and how his family would mock him for that. My father admitted he participated in the mocking and how he regretted it later in life. He said Russell would cry over this often, and looking back later in life made him, Dad, feel terrible. Last week, I was at the doctor's office with Leighton for a minor injury he had from baseball when I got a call from Weston's teacher that he had been saying some homophobic things in class. She explained he was using the F-slur, gay as an insult and mocking a boy for being fruity. In the car after we left, Leighton told me he's heard some of the kids in his grade from the robotics club, which Weston is in, use that language. After I picked up Weston from detention, Leighton and I tried talking to him and telling him to stop. He said it wasn't that big of a deal. I had my husband/his dad talk to him, but Weston ignored him too. I then decided to sit both of the boys down. I got photos of Russell and explained his story. How badly the family treated him, my father telling him the story of how Russell would cry in his bed. The boys just sat there. I don't know how it affected them, but I hope it left an impact. Later that night, I was talking to my older sister, 58F, about this. Her kids are in their mid-20s. She told me that I shouldn't have told them about Russell, or at the very least, waited until Dad died and I was not considerate of him. She also said they weren't old enough and it was too dark of a thing for them to know. AITA,